Good afternoon. So, most of this video is going to happen in the middle of summer in a few days. So, the footage is going to be green and full of walks and my dog. And what this video is about, basically what happened is when COVID hit, the Ukrainian government offered every Ukrainian to apply to receive 1,000 hryvnia, which is our currency, which is equivalent to about $35 at the moment. You could receive this money and you could spend it on businesses that suffered during the epidemic, during the pandemic. Sorry, I forgot to mention, you were eligible for the payout if you got vaccinated. I received mine, and one of the businesses that you could spend it on was bookshops. My mother, who also received hers, called me and said that she doesn't need anything at any of the businesses that she can spend it on, so if I want, I can spend hers on books as well. So I ended up getting 6 books in total for the money that our government gave us during COVID. And this is just a reading vlog of me reading the books that specific money bought me. I'm also filming this in the park while people are walking by and looking at me weird, and this is me battling my social anxiety and trying not to combust with shame when somebody walks by and tries to listen to what I'm saying. The first 2 books that I'm going to be reading, I will divide this vlog into 3 parts because there are 6 books, 2 books in this vlog and 2 more. These 2 books, Piranesi by Susanna Clarke and Vampires Never Get Old, a collection of short stories edited by Natalie C. Parker and Zoraida Cordova. I already read them in summer and I already filmed everything. I just couldn't film the beginning and the end of this video for some reason. So now I'm going to show you the footage of me actually reading them, and then you will see my conclusion, also filmed today. Let's go. Good morning to you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and ambiguous creatures of the wood. So I finished this, Vampires Never Get Old. It's a short story anthology edited by Zoraida Cordova and Natalie C. Parker. They also co-wrote one of the stories in here. I love vampires, everything to do with vampires. By the way, I'm refilming this. I already had the footage, but I lost it. I love vampires, everything to do with vampires, video games, books, films, just you name it, art, everything that has to do with vampires is my jam. So obviously I wanted to read this. I rated each short story separately, and here comes the unfun part for me. Since I also write and I want to one day publish, I don't know yet if it's going to be self-publishing or trying to do traditional publishing, I feel like I'm a fellow writer as well as a booktuber. I don't really review books, like I don't write lengthy reviews on Goodreads or Storygraph, but I talk about them in my videos, on my Instagram account, on Twitter, whatever. And I'm terrified of offending a fellow writer whose baby I'm talking about by saying that I didn't like their book or something. I know that if you read my book and you didn't like it and you hated it and you talked about it on the internet, I don't care. Like, you can do that. Obviously, it's probably not going to make me feel the best, but that review is not for me as for the writer. Hello, my love. Oh, there's my little dog. She's running around. We're in the park. Go get your puller. Alice. She's distracted. There was a garbage truck. She really wants to look at it. So I know that writers should not go into readers' spaces and then be offended by what they find there. But at the same time, I know that in today's world, a lot of writers will still go into those spaces because they would like to participate in the conversation as readers, and or just some malevolent figure will tag them in a negative review on Twitter or something. And because of that, I'm afraid of giving honest reviews sometimes, which is a conversation all on its own, but I mention it right now because 2 of the stories here, I'm not going to name them, I'm not going to name writers, But two of the stories in this anthology, one of them got 2 stars, which it was bearable, you know, it was just 2 stars. And one of them got 1 star. I actively disliked it. Like, there was nothing wrong with the story itself, with the characters, but it was just poorly written, ended abruptly, and was absolutely pointless. Like, you can pick it out of this collection and nothing will change, other than it probably will become better. But I have a lot of 4 stars here and a lot of 3 stars. One of the stories by Doniel Clayton, The House of Black Sapphires, I wrote 4-5, but I think that it's probably 5 stars because it's one of the most atmospheric things I have ever read. And now I want to read novels by her. I looked it up and I'm not entirely sure that I'm interested, because I think she writes young adult fiction and I haven't had the best luck with that. But I might give it a try because if the writing is the same as in the short story, I'm gonna have a good time. There's also a story by V. Schwab here that's being adapted on Netflix right now. And you know what? That show better have a good ending. Better have a happy ending. Because the ending in the short story is ambiguous, obviously, but like this show better have a good ending. I'm not gonna watch it, but it better. Okay. So, I added up all the individual ratings and divided them by the number of the stories, and it came out. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to climb a tree? I don't know what this dog's trying to do. She's not going to be able to climb that tree, but I mean, she's welcome to try. And it came out 3.2 stars. However, for myself, I feel a lot of birds. Like it's 4 stars. Even though there are 2 stories in here that I actively dislike and I would like them gone from this collection. Other than that, I'm really glad that I bought this and that I read it. And it's now, you know, part of my extensive vampire knowledge. People are jogging and there's an old lady sitting on a bench a few yards away and she's staring at me. And I'm not here for that. Okay, the next book that I'm reading is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I have not read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I have it, but I only bought it recently because it was so expensive. It's just such a long book that it was so expensive new, and I was able to buy it used, and it was very recently, so I haven't read it yet. But I was recommended this by one of my writer friends whose taste I really trust, and it's a pretty short book, so I don't know what it's about. I only know that Piranesi is the main character here. He is a satyr, I think. And he lives in a house, and there are things in the house. That's all I know. I'm gonna try and read it while the dog runs around. Alice? You wanna go walkies? Гулять? Пошли гулять. Пошли побегаем? Кто моя собака? Привет. Ням-ням. Лям-лям. I've never been to this part of the park before. These are graves of Jewish people that died, I'm assuming, during World War II when a lot of Jewish people were killed here in Babin Yar. I'm only assuming because I cannot read the writing. Okay, so this one says, I cannot read the Hebrew writing, but the rest is in Russian. It says Samuel Borisovich Vorobyov, born 1919. No, died 1919 when he was 60 years old. So, not during World War II. I don't know then what these graves are, and whether or not there was some historical significance or attachment of Jewish people to this specific park, piece of land. Well, what the hell is this? Okay, well, it looks like a house with a Ukrainian flag on the side. And, I mean, it's just in the middle of the park. Well, it's the wooded area of the park where it's just like the forest, basically. But, I mean, the hell? Oh, wait, there's some writing. It says something, private of the Kiev University, Doctor of Medicine, Pyotr Erasimovich Kochkovsky was born 1865, died 1909, and a student of law. Anton Erasimovich Kochkovsky, I'm assuming his son or brother, born 1898, and the rest I cannot read. So this is a tomb? What? I mean, there's nothing inside unless they're buried under the floor, or this was a tomb and it was ransacked, or this was just a memorial. Who are these people? I'm gonna look it up. What is that? Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Can you hear the bird? I wonder what it is. I'm gonna go that way. Look, it's a snail, friend. Oh, don't hide. No, I scared it. I'm really sorry. I just wanted to look at you. Look at that. Look at that sick mushroom. It's a little... Okay, I'm gonna come closer. Look at it. Okay, well, I somehow made a circle and I'm back at the little church. So this is just park territory now. I think that way is like a little ravine and that way just a park. Okay, I'm on page 16 and I seem to have been mistaken. Piranesi is not the satyr. I think the satyr is one of the statues in his house. And Piranesi just talks about himself as a man. He does not describe himself as a satyr, so I'm assuming that this is just one of the statues. So far, it's about Piranesi, who lives in a house which is sprawling and gigantic and has hundreds and hundreds of holes, and it's flooded. The lower level is entirely flooded. The upper level is in the clouds, and the middle level is where the things that live, the people live. And there's only Piranesi and the other who live in this house. There are skeletons of the people who used to live there. I don't think this is a spoiler. This is one of the memorials, notable things in the park. It's a little synagogue and it's shaped like a book. If you can see, there's a crank over there, a wheel, and it opens up like a book, like this. Like this. And there's a stage and a balcony, a little stairs. You can go up the stairs and go up on the balcony. It's a thing of beauty, really. I'm gonna film it one day when it's open. They must have closed it because it was raining at night. And it's just such a nice little building. Page 200 of Piranesi, and I love it so much. It is the perfect combination of weird and beautiful and philosophical, and it's my perfect book. Hi, welcome back. This is the end of this video. 4 more books to come, 2 more vlogs to come. Piranesi got 5 stars. This is one of the best books I have ever read. If I could give it 6 stars, 6 gazillion stars, I would. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It's beautiful, it's evocative, it's provocative, it's mystical, philosophical, and magical. This is a story of Piranesi, who lives in the house. The house is this vast, incredibly big building. He's never been to the end of it. He doesn't know how big it actually is. It's full of columns, and it's more like an open Greek temple, sort of. It has walls in some places, and large windows. And it has these gigantic, enormous statues everywhere. Statues of people, mythical creatures, animals, and just like nature things happening. He loves all the statues. He now knows all of them. He tends to the birds that come to the house. He gathers fish in the house. And he leads this very simple, very beautiful life, tending to the house, tending to himself, making sure he survives and that he's comfortable. And there is one other person in the house who he, Piranesi, just calls the other, who is a scientist and his friend. Once a week they meet to conduct research. Piranesi keeps journals, and this book is his journal entries. I've never read anything like it. It's just, I want to say that I have felt like this for books before. It touched places in my soul that are so tender that only the most beautiful things can wake them up. It's good, I think, for fans of long-winded magical realism. I think that if you like 100 Years of Solitude, which is my favorite book, and I heard a lot of people say that it's boring, which I understand but don't agree with, I think you will love this. I think if you like Isabel Allende, Marquez, Borges, I think you will love this. This was just magnificent. I'm in love. So this video is going really well. This got 5 stars. Vampires Never Get Old, it's over there on the shelf, got 4 stars. So now I am moving on to the next 2 books in this collection of 6. And I will see you soon.